Hello, how are you doing today, Thomas? I want to thank you so much for your signage that you were able to send to me. My message, once again, I am Joyce C. Sebastian. I am the Chief Executive Officer at Project No One. Our mission is to provide veteran crisis prevention, HIV discrimination, civil rights, and suicide awareness. Currently, I am looking for funding to be officially affiliated as a 501c nonprofit organization. My mission has been developed over the course of the past few years. So I was going to school for Homeland Security, and I was actually expelled from my university once I came out as being transgender. I continue my fight with a daily mission, going to local community centers, trying to get more availability Narcan intermuscular kits to my community. But the lesson here is that some individuals are resilient to giving it to me because some of these individuals don't support the queer community, they don't support veterans, and they don't necessarily support my cause. So my cause is directed, 4 years ago I came back from New York City. And I found out, we're moving on to 5 years now. 4 years ago, I came back from New York City onto my 5-year anniversary. I found out I was HIV positive and I couldn't join the military. That was a really, really dark time in my life because, we're observing President's Day today and what it means to be an American and what it means to be a soldier. So I continue my work. Some of the work I have posted back here is a little bit of trainings that I do for intervention specialty based presentations. One is called GAVIN. It stands for Gestures, Advice, Voicing, Involuntary Negotiations. So if someone was ever held hostage in a office and they were being seen as a store, so if someone's getting held hostage in an office, we want to make sure we're making a clear communication about our voice, how we're handling situation and phone calls. Someone could be trying to prevent a situation that causes an active shooter to arrive on campus. So we have had about 1,200 deaths in the past year to kids that have been affected by firearms. My mission is to prolong more support to the drug abuse resistance education platform. But the other issue I have with that is that I'm not a police officer. So I can't be sworn into a program unless I have them sworn in by a police officer. So now I'm really out here just doing my independent work. I've been able to partner with the New York Fire Department. I held an event called Control Room. There's no errors in who you are. And we also did a presentation on Memorial Day weekend and on Pride. That was really, really fantastic. I distribute condoms to prevent HIV and AIDS, and I also channel identities that promote the well-being of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender equality. I march pretty regularly on the 4.7 miles that I would walk to school every day last year at Johnson Wales University. So that's where I was going to school, Johnson Wales University, downtown Providence campus. I would do a lot of the demonstrations that promoted well-being of individuals overcoming stresses in their life. But the problem is I carried Narcan. So I carried Narcan and I approached someone one night. And, I always support the U.S. Army. Gilbert Baker created our queer pride flag, so I have much support for the Army. But unfortunately, they don't see me as my tale to be. And I don't think it's okay for someone that wants to serve our country to be denied the civil rights and liberties. So I continue my mission with outreach based on community certification courses I've completed, such as civilian response to active shooter evacuation with the Pawtucket Police Department. I also have my QPR certification in question, persuade, respond to handle instances if someone's battling suicidal thoughts. I can step in and be a moderator and a mediator. I'm a survivor of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. I grew up in foster care from 7 to 17. And my dream is to become a DARE officer so that I could properly show our country what it means to step in. The DARE program came into our schools when we were about 6 or 7 years old. It was created in 1983 by Daryl Gates with the Los Angeles Police Department. And, I have a lot of doubts from people who have come across me based on my social appearance, my equity. I do a lot of work that's not really talked about, making sure that there's not bomb scares in our local community marches. When I was working at the Intrepid by the sea, I worked at an organization called Circle Line, and we were right next to the Intrepid, the Air and Space Museum. So my mission was to make sure that 5,000 people were not allocated into a performance area where they could have firearms or threatening patrons that were trying to elude any type of oases based on their social tendencies. I had to keep these blockades very safely, and we partnered with the New York Fire Department on those programs. I continue to also do outreach. I'm a coach for a Spartan race. We are partnering with Reebok, and we encourage survivors of sexual assault and rape to come forward and race against the Wells. We also do work at 100 Medway Street, day one. Day one is 1401 421-4100. That's a women's support group for individuals that have also been survivors of traffic. About $32 billion a year come from traffic here. So with you being able to process a request from me, I identify a request as Rhode Island Emergency Queer Union Equine Sensitivity Training. So equine is the formula we see with Narcan, right? So with Narcan, we see a formula such as a pony preventing overdose naloxone intervention. When you use the component, such as a hydrochloride, it reverses the effect of a heroin overdose. We want to make sure we're proceeding to follow up with rehabilitation plans, which I cohesively have been developing with the Providence Safe Stations to the Providence Fire Department in Rhode Island. That number is 1-401-942-7867, otherwise known as STOP. And I've also been able to put forth presentations with the New York Fire Department on behavioral mental health therapy. We host events in nightlife that promote the well-being of you, me, he, and she, and we are a trained group of facilitated agents of deprivatives through the Homeland Security Department. So thank you so much for your kindness with today. Once again, my affiliations are strictly based on educational experience. I'm looking for a nonprofit sponsoree so I could officially register my organization as we deliver veteran crisis prevention, HIV discrimination, civil rights, and suicide awareness. So thank you so much for your kindness, and let's make that pillar pink loud, because you know we care about the can. It's the not can. Whatever you say is a sister for a sleigh. And thank you, Timus Duddy, on this day. Have a wonderful weekend.